Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Welcome to Rahnama Academy Shakot and YouTube channel @Rana 4563 @Rana Ali 7476. Dear students, dear audience, parents, and all the people who are attending my lecture on YouTube, I welcome to all of you. Today's lecture is the continuity of the previous lecture. That lecture was about the prerequisites of ISSB. ISSB seeks certain qualities in the candidates to be selected for officers in armed forces. The topmost quality which I elaborated in the previous lecture was the leadership. What the things as a leader a candidate must have in his personality. So I elaborated certain points. As a leader, one of them was the initiative. A leader must take initiative in taking certain decisions, or he must be capable to face any odd situation. Then, after this point, I discussed about the resourcefulness. A leader is resourceful if he has to go out of routine or unusual situation. Then he must be capable to bring those resources needed to handle that situation. After resourcefulness, he must have self-confidence. Without confidence, critical situations cannot be handled. For handling such situation, confidence plays a key role in such circumstances. Then reaching to conclusions or taking appropriate decisions or arriving at fast and appropriate decisions. So these were the certain points which I discussed in the previous lecture. Today is the continuity of the same lecture. As a leader, what are the other points to be noted by ISSB in the candidates? My dear students, remember, elaborating these points means anybody, any student, any candidate who is desiring to apply for ISSB, he must be aware of these qualities which are assessed at ISSB during the time at the disposal of ISSB. You can inculcate these things in your personality. Maybe these things are in the instinct of some person, somebody, but you can inculcate. If you would be aware of these qualities, definitely you would try to have development of these things in your personality, which are needed as a prerequisites at ISSB for becoming officers in armed forces. So the next point as a leader is influencing ability. Leader must have influencing personality. Influence. He must be capable to win the faith, loyalty, trust of his subordinates. So they might be ready for sacrificing their lives for the situation to come. If time comes for sacrificing the most valuable thing a man has is his life, it can only be possible if leader wins the trust of his under command personnel or the fellows or the subordinates. Then a leader must have liveliness. He must have cheering personality, cheerful. He should not be all the time in anger or just in command mood. He must have liveliness in his personality. He must know how he can make under command personnel or the people or the subordinates to enjoy and happy when there is leisure time, when there is the time for observing cheerfulness. So this is also important point as a leader he must have in his personality. The next thing is human understanding. Good leader knows the reasonable basic needs and requirements of his fellow men, of his under command personnel. He is well aware of these reasonable requirements of his men. And if he has this quality of knowing the basic requirements, the reasonable requirements, needs of his fellow men, definitely he is a successful leader. The next point as a leader is delegation of responsibility. No doubt, leader is himself committed, devoted, and he tries to accomplish the assigned task, but he must not try to do each and every duty himself. He must delegate responsibility to the subordinates, to the under command personnel who are trained for these duties. He must trust on them. This is another point being a good leader. Then very important point as a leader is the integrity and honesty. Integrity and loyalty. It is very important point being a good leader. Good leader never compromises on loyalty, on integrity, on truthfulness. He never compromises. He must be dead honest, dead loyal to his soil or the country, and he inculcates the same thing in his under command personnel. Then unselfishness. Good leader always sacrifices his own comforts for sake of others. He never puts the others into trouble. He always subordinates his own comforts for the sake of his subordinates. He is never selfish. He has this quality of being unselfish and ever ready to sacrifice his own comfort zone for the others. He takes care the comforts of his subordinates. My dear students, as a leader, these qualities are essential. ISSB seeks these qualities in the candidates being selected officers for armed forces. Basically, the aim of my lecture is to make aware of those people who are wishing, desiring for ISSB exam. These are those people who don't have military background. They simply do FSC and apply for ISSB and are not aware of the things which are to be observed as a candidate by the ISSB. And this lecture will be translated into Urdu also later on, as I have so many students who are attending my lecture in the foreign countries. That's why I try to be in direct means of communication, that is English. That's why I'm delivering these things into English, so the foreigner may understand what are the prerequisites as a candidate being selected by ISSB, becoming officers in armed forces. I hope you might have taken advantage from my previous lectures, and hopefully you will get benefit from my today lecture also. Thank you for listening my lecture patiently. Assalamu alaikum.